Drink it in, man. Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread! 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 Drink it in, man. Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread! Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man. Detroit Koolaid, Detroit Koolaid drinkers, what is going on, everybody? It's game week. I'm recording here on Thursday evening. We're about to have real football between the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. Our Lions will be live with all their starters, all their ball players, Sunday against San Francisco. I can't wait to talk all about it. Everybody, I'm your host, Derek Oker, here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. I'm going to come to you twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. Main goal, really the only goal of the show, is to serve you up a big glass of that Detroit Kool-Aid, entertain, and have some fun. So drink it in, everybody. Drink it in, man. So everybody, as you can imagine, I have like a jam-packed show here. I did my Wednesday show. It's been a busy, hectic week, couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever it is. There's lots going on here for myself, and I know everybody else is busy as well. So, Wednesday I gave you a different type of show. I said, for the Friday show, I'm going to give you a little something as we head into this football game. So, lots to talk about. We'll just dive right into it. First thing I want to talk about is something that was really surprising. This just came across a little bit before I got recording. I guess something's up with Taylor Decker. I mean, word going around, he's got some finger issue. He didn't practice. There's a lot of people in the know that are saying he might or probably or unsure if he'll play on Sunday. And that surprises me a lot because, this guy's the consummate professional. He's the leader on that offensive line, very highly paid at this point, and always seems to be out there. So for a finger, hand injury, whatever you want to call it, to keep this guy out of the opening game would be very disconcerting. Now, we'll see what happens. I don't know what the injury is. Some people say, oh, it's just a finger, and I've been a guy that feels that way to some degree too. But when you're talking offensive line, there's a lot of hand work, a lot of being able to grab, clutch, whatever it is. And if he can't do that at the level he needs to, then he shouldn't be out there to some degree, because you need a left tackle to be playing at his premier absolute best, going against a pass rush like the 49ers have, as well as protecting that blind side of the quarterback. So he's got to be right. But my hope is he can tape it up, even if he's got to put some type of apparatus on his hand and still be able to be out there and be the Taylor Decker that we expect. Now, what I want to get into quickly is people are just like, oh, Penny Sewell will be over there. Some of the glorious beat writers that you guys know either aren't my faves or just want a story and make a story out of everything. We're like, oh, put Penny Sewell over there. Penny Sewell start at left tackle. After we've been training him and he's been working at the right the whole time. And I've said on this show before that, hey, if there's injury, he could go to left because of his history. But here's my take now, and even in this scenario, if Taylor Decker can't go, I'd be very apprehensive to just flip Penei Sewell over there, especially if it's a minor injury, because this guy's been retraining his brain, his footwork, everything to go to the right side. Now you want him just to change it on a few days' notice and go back to the left again, and then you're going to send him back to the right again if Taylor Decker gets right in a week or two? I wouldn't do that. I would just leave the kid over there, find another option, figure it out over on the left side, and go. Again, I'm really hoping that Taylor Decker can play. This was very surprising to hear, especially based on the nature of the injury or how it sounds when you say it, finger injury. You really hope that he can be out there and and be that left tackle that we know him to be and want him to be for this football team. So that was some news and notes off the top. Now, before I get into my next topic, which would be kind of a fun, different type topic I'll have a little fun with, I want to do a quick promo for my other podcast. Drops Thursday morning. It's called BLEAV. That's pronounced Believe in Lions on the Believe Podcasting Network. And I've been doing that show for a while, probably a season and a half now, whatever it is. I started it out by myself. The Lions legendary safety Benny Blades came on for a while. We had a lot of fun talking football. He had to bow out due to business and life obligations that he had going on. I've had some friends. I've had Logan Lamorandier, different people on there. And then I went back solo a little bit with Benny, but in the last few weeks, the Believe Podcast Network folks and myself, we were able to get Jack Kavanaugh on board. He's doing things with Pro Football Focus. He's got a couple different websites, fantasy football, blogging, all the different things he's doing. And I don't know, there's something about Jack, man. He's just a fun guy to talk to, real easy to get along with. He's got energetic takes and thoughts and strong opinions about the Lions overall. He BLEAV, believes in the Lions as well. So that's becoming a real fun show, and as I teased the last couple of weeks, we may have a couple really nice surprises on the way for you as well. Things are really ramping up with that show, with football now upon us, and with me and Jack growing, get some chemistry, being able to have a lot of fun with each other, joking back and forth, and talking ball. So if you haven't checked that out, this is just a little promo to say, you can't get enough Lions, especially now that we're in the football season. So pull up your podcast platform that you use, type in BLEAV, Believe in Lions, and go check that out. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll be giving that to you once a week as well. So that's 3 Lions shows coming from me and other people that I work with talking Lions football. So I wanted to get that in. Now let's get to this next topic. This is a either or, tomato. What do you prefer versus what is actually happening? Most people, when they say number 88's name or his nickname, they're going with Hawk. You know how I say it on the show. TJ Hawkinson. Hock. But every once in a while you hear an interview or teammates and they'll call him Hawk. HAWK. Iowa Hawkeye. It probably has some other meanings as well. Like, do you like Hawk? Or do you like Hawk for number 88? I mean, I'm going to go with HOCK. Just makes a little bit more sense, a little easier. But I have heard him say that. So I wanted to see, what do you guys think out there? What do you like better? But this is what I want to talk about, Mr. Hawkinson. Now, for years on the Mitch Albom show, they had Matt Stafford on. You want to talk about a puff piece. You want to talk about a love affair between Mitch Albom and his good old buddy, or so he thinks, Matt Stafford. He'd come on, he'd say the same ho-hum, type answers to everything. He just, they give him these fluff questions. It would be this big love fest. It was very hard to listen to. It really was, as quite a few of Matt Stafford's, interviews and public appearances and things got to be. It was just kind of like, come on, man, can you say something interesting? Can you say something entertaining? I mean, again, he's just getting babied, and like every answer, begins with, Yeah, that's right. I think you're. Starts with me. It sounded something like that. Again, compliments. 97 won the tickets for putting out that great gem, and I only bust it out every once in a while and try to give them credit, but that is funny, and that's basically how it sounded. But now Mitch Albom has been forced to pick someone else other than his best pal there, a guy that you can just have these fluff pieces in the, he writes or when he's on the radio, whatever he's doing these days. But now they decided to get TJ Hawkinson. And I mean, you want to talk about just an odd pair. You want to talk about oil and water. Is Mitch Albom and our guy Hawk. I mean, First of all, I want to say this. Again, if Mitch Albom has had some type of medical issues, or if he just came back from the orthodontist or something was going on, but my man sounded like Daffy Duck on this interview that I listened to. I mean, he's slurring every word. He just, it's like when you're trying to listen to something and it just sounds so odd the way the person's talking and pronouncing things and slurring and S's and it sounded really bad. So again, if it's a medical thing he's got going on, I apologize, but it sounded really bad. So I don't know what happened to Mitch Albom and the way he speaks, but like it was just so horrible because TJ Hawkinson was a great interview. I mean, all of his answers were great. The questions were terrible. The questions were very odd, but I still took a few things away that I thought were entertaining, so I'll just give those to you here quickly. Mr. Hawkinson said that one difference with Dan freaking Campbell is that he actually works with the offense and the defense. He basically straight out said that Matty P, Matt Patricia, whatever you want to call him, he didn't even ever head over to the offense. He didn't know what was going on in the offense. He didn't spend any time with the offensive people whatsoever. Now, Hawkinson didn't say all that, but he definitely said straight up that they didn't see much of Matt Patricia ever. He was only dealing with the defense, only. So that's eye-opening, which we all kind of knew, but you'd think he'd at least have some clue what's going on over there or hang out with his players. Then he went on to talk about his guy, JG. They asked him about Jared Goff. Why? Because Mitch Albom was trying to set him up to say, like, well, how great Stafford is, and, like, we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. And instead, Hawkinson just went into rate about how much JG was his guy, and he said he loves football. He tells his players what to do straight up. He basically said, without saying, they go in and watch film, and Jared Goff, is saying, hey, I need you here. I need you to do this. I need you at this depth. Like, get it straight. Get the bleep straight, and let's go. Where it sounded like Matt Stafford either really wasn't watching tape that way with his players or wasn't calling them out, which I've been on the record of saying that he probably was that passive-aggressive guy, not the guy demanding things like that in the film room from his players. Hawkinson also said that JG is so much cooler because he's so much younger. He's down with the vibe. He's got a girlfriend. They're hanging out around town. He's cool with the fellas. Where Stafford obviously had reached that point where he's a family man. He's got 4 or 5 kids. He's got his wife. He's not going to do anything fun. I mean, every once in a while he'd probably be, half entertaining or hang with the fellas, but not the way Jared Goff's going to do at this point, trying to get to know everybody and get that respect that you need. So that was not only really eye-opening, that was kind of like you can see just that bond that these younger players now on the Detroit Lions have with this guy that they didn't have with number 9. It didn't matter how much X's and O's he knew or how hard he could throw the football. Like, these guys, they just didn't hang with him very much. And yeah, they had a football vibe, but they didn't have anything off the field that was substantial, is what I took away. So that was interesting. What else did Hawkinson say? He said that yeah, man, Jared Goff's fun. He's got a girlfriend. We hang out. We, his teammates. And then he slides in. And recently, I'm settling in. And they were like, what does settling in mean? And, of course, Mitch Albom, are you married? Are you have fun? All these goofy, nerdy questions. And Hawkinson's like, I got a girlfriend now. I'll give her that title. And they were like, what do you call her? He was kind of like, well, I normally just call them friends. And I thought that was very funny. Again, I do have a little bit of concerns about TJ Hawkinson off the field if he's going to get himself in some hot water, do something that could keep him off the field, a suspension or otherwise. But I do love him. He is entertaining, and he is straight up and honest, and that was funny too. So he's got a lady in his life. It sounds like he's had maybe a few other ladies that he didn't call, girlfriends, or they were acquaintances or friends. You know what I'm saying. And there was one funny story to kind of end it where they asked him, if he's always been a tight end, and Hawkins was like, it's a funny story. He goes, we were filling out 7th grade football or something, and they put your name and then what your position was. And so they put TJ Hawkinson, quarterback. and he passed this paper along, and his buddy, like, 6 spots down the row, scratched off quarterback and wrote in tight end, and then went down to his name and put his name in and put quarterback. So I thought that was tremendous, and they gave him grief about it. Hawkinson's like, how can I hate on the guy? I can't disown him. It worked out real well for me because he's doing real big things. He's gonna get paid here in a couple of years. There's no question. So great interview by Hawkinson. Very odd talking and vibe with Mitch Albom. Kenny Brown, I think's the other guy on there. I mean, he's pretty cool, but of course he can't do or say much because it's the old Mitch Albom show. But it's oil and water, there's no question. But TJ Hawkins is worth a listen if you guys want to find that and check it out, because he was great. So let's see. Let's do one more thing, and then we'll take our commercial break. So I'll just tee this up. After the break, we're going to talk all about this 49ers and Lions game, give you kind of a game flow preview of maybe how I see this one going down, talk about some of the matchups. You can also hear more about that on the Believe in Lions show that we did. We talked about matchups and players and different things like that on that show. But before I go to break, I just want to say, man, life's been so crazy. There's so much going on, family and work and lots of other things. But this is going to be a big time football weekend for me. Like, I'm still, here in the state of Michigan, been staying around for family reasons and some other situations. But, definitely know that my time might be coming to an end where I may be moving away or doing some different things, and got some exciting things on the horizon, I believe. And that might not happen here in the state of Michigan. And, this weekend's going to be great. Like, I'm really just kind of putting other things on pause. I've kind of told my work, football work and weekend things that I do, that I can't do it because I'm taking a little break. And I'm going to kind of get done with another couple busy days of work here on Thursday, Friday, whatever. And then, Saturday, I'm just going down, hanging out with a real good buddy and some other friends. And we're hitting up that Michigan night game against Washington. UW coming to the big house for a evening game. It's a maize out. If you're going to that game, wear your maize, your yellow, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be crazy. And just going to have a lot of fun, like hanging out, tailgating, walking around Ann Arbor, which is always great. And like I said, it was so great to watch college football last week because the fans make all the difference. It was a whole different game. It was a whole different vibe. Michigan came out and played really solid football. I was super disappointed to see Ronnie Bell get injured. That was a huge bummer, but, gosh, he had just made some plays. I was really excited to watch him this year. I even have called him kind of a poor man's Odell at times, the way he makes plays. And, I mean, I said that long ago on some different things or people I talked to, and then he goes out and makes that one-hander that they took away from him, then a 75-yard touchdown, then a great punt return or whatever, and then he just blows out his knee, I think is the injury. So that's terrible, but the football team overall looks interesting, and we're going to get after it this Saturday. So that's going to be really fun. And then when we get done with that, I mean, we don't have much time to recover or get rolling because that next morning be out tailgating downtown Detroit for Lions 49ers. So back-to-back football games, first games of the year, fantasy football. We're going to be grilling. It's just going to be incredible. So I can't wait for all that. It's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to it because it's hard to put life on pause. I've said this to friends, family, whoever, people in my life, to just say, there's just a few times a year. They just need to put things on pause and say, man, I'm going to go hang out with friends. I'm going to go to a game, go to a concert, go do whatever it is you like to do. And then get back to the normal, work, grind, family, kids, whatever it may be. That's kind of how I operate, is a handful of times a year. I really just, do something great again, and not just something at the house. You got to pay for tickets to go on a plane flight, go to a city, do a couple things that are just really extraordinary. And then you'll still have your at-home days away or your little things, but go big. And then also know that, yeah, we all are working and, dealing with family obligations and all the other stuff that comes along with life. There's no question, but enjoy yourself. So I hope everybody really enjoys this first NFL week, second week of college. Football is back, baby, and I can't be more excited. So everybody, let's take a quick break, get our great sponsors in here, come back, talk some 49ers, I want to talk about the Lions, underdogs being treated like nothing. Talk a little bit about that. You get a game prediction, and you might want to stay to the end of the show. I might have a little surprise for you, a little something, something. So everybody, we'll be right back. All right, everybody. This goes out to my fantasy football fans out there. Now, you probably heard about Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners can build and manage their fantasy team like a real NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? I mean, we're talking free agency, multi-year contracts, rookie drafts, multi-team trades. You can put franchise tags on guys. It's as close as you're going to get to being an NFL GM. But do you think it sounds complicated? It's not. I'm here to tell you it's the best thing about Reality Sports Online is it's just more fun than your normal fantasy league, but it doesn't take barely any more time. After all this, are you still not sure? I mean, come on now. You can test your general manager skills by going over to Reality Sports Online, call it RSO. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com right now. Detroit Koolaid drinkers, thank you so much for listening to our sponsors. Thank you for subscribe on the show. Love it. Always getting feedback from people. Hey, love the show. Love that drop you did. Entertain me. All that stuff I get, which is great. I do have a lot of fun doing this show and the Believe in Lions show. There's no question about it. And just love talking ball, talking football, talking Detroit Lions, Michigan Wolverines, fantasy football, hoops, hockey, whatever it may be. So let's go and get into this right now. We're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. And again, I could go position by position. I could give you, the over-under scores. We've kind of talked about some of that on my other shows. What I want to do is just let's put ourselves in our seats kind of at home or at Ford Field, 12:59, about to be kickoff, and kind of see how this game might flow. So I'll just sort of talk you through kind of what I see. And one thing I see is, again, I would love for the Lions offense to get the ball the first time they have the football and really have a productive drive. Now, do I need a huge touchdown or anything? Not necessarily, but I would love Jared Goff to be kept clean and be able to operate, do his thing, throw some balls, get some positive plays going, as well as in the run game. I love to beat people up a little bit, push the line of scrimmage, get a couple first downs, show some gritty yards, and throw the ball to DeAndre Swift, all those things that we're looking for. But this is the thing I really want. Let's bump all that I just said. How about the Lions offense comes out, first play, huddle up, come out of the huddle, in a normal type of formation, and set hut, and they give a little, ball fakes to Swift, and Jared Goff just throws the ball as far as he can down the field to Tyrell Williams. You just send him on a straight go down the sideline and see if you can't get yourself a big-time touchdown, because here's one thing about Tyrell. If you just give him a chance, and if they don't have like a double safety look back there, he'll go up and get the football. He really will. So I'd love them just to uncork one. Again, you're probably going to get a catch or a pass interference, and it's a rarity on a negative if you're going to get an interception, but I would love to see that. Or a trick play. Deep ball or a trick play, first play of the game, set the tone, get everybody on their heels, get people excited. That would be awesome. If they don't do that, if they go traditional, get some positive stuff, because I think it's more important for the offense to get rolling than the defense. And a lot of you might say, well, the defense was the problem last year. The defense was horrible. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. I mean, gosh almighty, was it bad? I mean, you got to ask, like a guy like Chuck Barkley how bad it was.
That's terrible.
I agree, Charles. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
The defense was. And you know why it was? Because we had Matt Patricia scheming up New England defenses with the players that didn't fit. We didn't have any nasty beasts that were up front and were healthy. We were trying to make our corners and safeties play all this man coverage. They couldn't do it. Yeah, you continued to do it. So I mean, yeah, it was terrible on so many levels. There's no question about it. But, I mean, the defense, you'd love to see them get off the field early on some third downs, get their confidence up. Now, San Francisco is no joke on both sides of the ball, so I don't see this being, a wonderful game for the Lions by any means. I see them having struggles at times moving it. I see a couple turnover or two probably happening for them. I see, some sacks that are going to be tough to watch. But one thing I'm hoping for this team as we kind of work our way through this game is we're still in the first quarter, first half or whatever. Again, you need to get that early confidence. You need to make a couple plays to where your team can whoop it up, get off the field a little bit, feel good about themselves. And you need to hang tight, in regards to the score. Like, let's say San Francisco comes down early in one of their first few drives and gets a touchdown. Well, you got to answer. You got to come back and get points of your own. I think that's really important. If the Lions were to come out and get a touchdown or 10 points or something early, yeah, it's important to try to prevent the other team from just coming right back and getting those same points. We don't want this to be a shootout, and I can't see the Lions defense this early in the game holding San Francisco to, 14 or less. I really can't. I think it's going to be in the 20s for them, and then I'm curious where the Lions can get offensively. So, again, it's all those things you talk about, like get off the field on third down, short yardage. Again, a trick play would be beautiful because these are the weeks where you can catch somebody by surprise. You can do a couple things, get you up over the hump. You can steal a game, however you want to call it. And I'm hoping that Dan freaking Campbell has that in him, where he's willing to do that. He's willing to put himself on the line to do that type of thing. So a trick play early or at some point in this game, I would really circle that as something I'm looking for. Swift in the passing game, as I mentioned, him and Hockenson kind of dominating the middle of the field. Guys on San Francisco that I see kind of being a real factor is, if Nick Bosa is ready to go and if Taylor Ecker is out, how are you going to scheme up your offensive line so that Bosa or D Ford or whoever can't wreak havoc on your quarterback? That's an important matchup to me. Fred Warner, their linebacker, against some of our players over the middle will be interesting. But I'm just waiting for them to totally use DeAndre Swift in the middle because you could hand it to him all you want. But I think he's way more dynamic in the passing game because his routes are crisp, his feet are sweet, and I think he can catch and get by you. So I'd feature him early and often in the passing game. You want to be within striking distance at halftime, whether you're up or down. You want to have it where it's a manageable football game. You're not at a whack in regards to giving up big plays. You're not turning the ball over a lot. That's what I would expect. And then let's say you get down in the third quarter for whatever reason. Lions get down. They need to hang in the football game. You need to give yourself a chance heading into the fourth quarter of this game that lots of people have the 49ers winning by 7, 10, 14 points, whatever they want to throw out there. I think that you keep it close. The longer you keep it close, the more they get tight and the more the Lions are like, hey, we're about to win this for Dan Campbell and company. We're about to just we're about to put up that dub against the 49ers here at our home. And I saw today rally towels are going to be given out. I think Ford Field's going to be nasty. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. A lot of people have been itching to get back to a ball game. A lot of people are interested in what this team has. It's a total question mark, to be honest. And win, lose, or draw, I'm not going to come back here. They could get blown out, and it's not going to be the end of the world for me. They could win the game, and I'm not going to say they're the best team ever, yet I am going to serve up a lot more Kool-Aid if they come out 1-0 after this ball game. You know that. Drink it in, man. And like I said, I guess best case scenario is if they play a good game and we'll see where the chips fall at the end. They hang in. It's an entertaining ball game. It's a lot of good plays back and forth. You see some stuff from the young cats, and then win or loss. Hey, walk away, man. That was a fun game. Hey, they look good. Hey, some of the young players really seem to turn it on. That's the kind of things that I want to see. And like I say, when you get to the end of the ball game, well, I'll get to that in a minute with my game prediction. But I want to talk about this real quick. The absolute disrespect that continues to happen with the Lions. Now, we've been over this many a times here on the show. Oh, it doesn't matter what national media says. I don't care. I'm not going to put up with any of this hating on Detroit or the Lions or this, that, just because they haven't been good for however many years now. I'm worried about right now. I'm worried about this year. So here's the thing. You kind of look around, Dan freaking Campbell, some of these young players, some of these young stud athletes, these draft picks. I mean, do you think they care about all this hate that's coming their way?
You've had enough of that.
Yeah, they've had enough of it. Do you think they're walking in there going, yeah, we're not good enough. We're not deep enough. We don't have enough playmakers. Our wide receivers are horrible. Oh, yeah, because we lost in the 1970s, we can't win in 2021. Jared Goff's no good. Jeff Okudah's a bust. Penei Sewell is just a turnstile. You think they're saying that? Do you think they're buying into any of this garbage that you hear out there? I mean, local reporters, every time somebody steps to a podium, hey, you guys listen to all the hate out there. Like, do you use it as motivation? Do you like being an underdog? Blah, blah, blah. The same old tired questions, right? I don't know if they're trying to bait people or if that's really all they look about is like how dark the sky is every day when they go outside. But I'm here to tell you, like, these players, they don't listen to it. They don't read it. They don't worry about it. They're going to go there and do their best. Is their best going to be good enough? We'll see. But they're not buying into all this garbage that's out there in the national media, especially the big-time national people that are they got the Lions ranked like 32nd, 31st. Come on, man. Like, this team, there's just no way. With Brad Holmes the way he is and the way he knows talent, he's not going to put a 31st best roster out there. Not going to, win 2-3 games. I just see no way of that happening. I'd be shocked. I know we're retooling, rebuilding. I know that they're going to add pieces with all these draft picks they have. Yeah, if you were bad, okay, now you have this premier chip plus whatever the Rams do to better your team. I get it, but I think the players are just so tired of hearing about, the struggles in Detroit and, hey, do you think you'll be able to run the ball? And they're kind of like, well, why wouldn't we be able to run the ball? Oh, because for the last 15 years you haven't been. Like, it's equivalent. Like we got the same lineman from 12 years ago out there. Or, hey, because Kevin Smith washed out in 3 years, DeAndre Swift's going to be an issue. Like, it's just getting annoying to me, to the players, to people. Now, this whole underdog mentality, yeah, I think you can play that card a little bit. I think you can come in there, oh, yeah, we'll just try our best. We'll see what happens. And you go punch some people in the mouth, put up a couple W's, and people are like, man, we need to take notice of the Detroit Lions. Like, this team might be more than we thought. They might have some juice. Look at these receivers. They got nobody that's going to be on the souvenir cup, but they can make plays. And that's what it's all about, to be honest. So I think you can play the underdog card, but I think the players are just like, we're going to put our absolute best Detroit Lions players and team out there. We're going to scheme it up, coach it up, and we'll see what happens then. I doubt they're going in just bowing to these top teams in the league just because they're on the top power rankings of some guy from NFL.com. They're going there saying, we got the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. And that's it. That's all we're worried about. We don't care where we are in the rankings. We're not worried about the 2022 NFL draft. We don't care that you're hating on our quarterback every time you get a chance, even though he was the number one pick. He's been to a Super Bowl, and he smart football player. So I think it's a bunch of garbage. I think everybody's sick of it. And now it's up to the Lions players and coaches to tell the media and people we're not worried about it and we don't give a what, and then go out there and win. Find a way to win and shut all the haters up and get all the Lions fans, the Kool-Aid drinkers, to be like, I told you this team's got a little something. I told you they got a little bit of grit, a little bit of fight, a little bit of nasty in them. And they got to show that, and they got to win and make plays, and that'll be all you need to know. So there's one thing else you guys need to know on this part of the show, and that's my prediction. That's my game prediction. Again, you've heard me do the game by game, where I try to entertain you when the schedule came out. I think we did it a few weeks ago with my buddy Chops here on the show, where we went back through game by game and I gave you some win-loss, whatever it may be. But we're basically 2 days out, 2 full days out from the ball game, being there in the parking lot, being there with 65,000 of my closest friends at the ball game, kicking off, and then seeing what happens in this game. So what's my prediction? What's my score? Are they going to win? Are they going to lose? That's what you want to know here to end the show. Let me tell you this. For this ball game, I have a prediction of 24-21. A close game. Definitely. A game that I hope and think will come down to somewhere in the fourth quarter, as most NFL games do. There's a saying, as you guys heard me kind of go on a little bit of a rant on my Wednesday show, talk a little bit of wrestling. Professional wrestling is back. It's one of the hottest things going right now. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, to be a matter of fact. And there's a saying in the wrestling business that when they bring you in, if you're a new guy, veteran, a rookie, whatever, your first time in, your first match, your first, go at it when you're new or you're green, as they say, they make you take a loss. They pin you. They give you an L. And they do that so you can see how you react. See how you take it. See if you take it well and respond. You come back after that. So, again, I've got this 24-21. And imagine now, some of you guys will get this. The lights go out.
You know it's all about the power. You know it's all about the power.
And just like to end the AEW pay-per-view, you hear that music. It's all about the boom. Adam Cole comes out. And he struts to the ring, he's a big name, everyone's excited. He gets in the ring and he says, what he says, but in this context, he'd get in the ring and he'd say, San Francisco with the W, baby. And, he'd go ahead and kick the head off of Dan Campbell and, we would have the heels on top, the bad guys, the San Francisco 49ers beating your Detroit Lions. Everyone's excited, and then that happens, and you're like, oh, man, they had me, I thought they were going to get this victory. Okri teed it up 24-21. Now he's telling me it's going to be San Francisco getting that win, baby. Or are they? Or are the Detroit Lions gonna then step up? Are they gonna hit the Lions music like Bryan Danielson? And are we gonna swoop in and win this football game 24-21? I mean, that's the ending. That's the go home. That's the send them home happy moment that we're looking for. I mean, Lions are trying to be great. Dan freaking Campbell And the Detroit Lions are trying to be great. They're striving for greatness. And it starts week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers. So just like a classic wrestling story, they're about to end the show. The music hits. It's Adam Cole, baby. He turns heel. Everybody is confused. Everybody's upset. We don't know what to think. And then boom. The babyface's music hits. He comes out. The people are going nuts. I mean, it's about being great. It's about finding a way to win. It's about being the absolute best. And on Sunday at Ford Field, the Detroit Lions are going to do just that. They're going to win this football game 24-21 in thrilling fashion. I mean, the last thing I want to know, and I think I already know the answer, I really do, but I'm asking the people. I'm asking the Detroit Koolaid drinkers. Will the Lions, make me correct, will the Lions rise up and win this game in thrilling fashion? Will the Lions play much better than anyone is giving them credit for? I mean, I think that I know, and you know, the answer to that. And all you have to do is simply take a moment and listen to the answer from all of the loyal, diehard Detroit Kool-Aid drinkers out there. That right there is the people chanting yes. Yes, the Lions can win. Yes, the Lions will win. And they will stand tall when Sunday is all said and done. You heard it here first on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Everybody, drink it in this weekend.
Drink it in, man.
Have a great time at home or at the game.
Drink it in, man.
Root on the Detroit Lions and don't care what any of the haters say or any of the negative people. Be positive. Drink that Detroit Kool-Aid.
Drink it in, man.
Side of cornbread. Make it a double.
Cornbread! Cornbread!
I thank you guys so much for listening. I'll check you next week right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. I'm out.
Drink it in, man.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in.